Dirty keyboard? Let's clean. Let's deep clean. Now, not all keyboards are made the same, but the process should be similar. I have a GMMK keyboard and it's in need of some cleaning. So let's get to it. First, let's gather our cleaning tools. I'll be using a feather duster, a few brushes, a keycap puller along with a switch puller, a crosshead screwdriver. Lastly, I decided to use cleaning spray with paper towels. Before we start taking things off, it's probably a good idea to snap a quick picture of the keyboard layout for future reference. Or you can leave a tab open on your web browser with an image of the layout already on it. Oh, before we start, let's unplug the keyboard. You know, safety first. Wouldn't want to accidentally damage the keyboard. Mine's a wired keyboard, so I just have to reach around and unplug the USB. Now, let's remove all our keycaps. I like using my hands where possible, but I'll use the wire keycap remover on those that I can't. But you can use a plastic ring type just the same. It's looking like my caps aren't too bad, so I'll just set them aside and clean them later. If they happen to be gunkier, I'd use soap, water, and a brush to make them clean. You might have noticed that my keyboard is an open floating type keyboard. As such, it's prone to collect more dust. But the cleanup should also be simplified as well. Just as a reminder, extra care is needed when removing keycaps from co-star stabilizers. With all the caps now off, we can see exactly what we have to clean. I'll use the feather duster to remove the loose dust first, then I'll go over it with a brush to remove the more stubborn dirt. I forgot to record it, but I did end up using the iron scrub brush to persuade some of the more persistent particles off. Now I would caution you on how aggressive you use the brush, seeing as it may scratch your keyboard if it is made out of plastic. This is the result of using the brushes over the plate. Normally, this is where you would use cotton swabs to clean the surface. Luckily for me, my switches are swappable and can be removed, making wiping down the plate a much easier task. With the help of a switch puller, I'll remove all the switches. Normally, the switches should be fine and clean enough. That is, unless a liquid has been spilled on the keyboard and it managed to seep into them. That, however, is not my case. I'll use a plastic bag to keep the switches safe from being lost or damaged. But first let's remove the stabilizers for an easier wipe down. Using the cleaning spray on a paper towel, I'll go ahead and clean the top surface, making sure to remove any residue and liquid marks. I'd recommend using a smooth, long motion as opposed to a scrubbing motion to clean, so the paper towel doesn't fall apart as fast. At this point, it is perfectly fine to stop, but I'm going in deep. Now with the help of a Phillips screwdriver, I will remove the screws holding the top plate with the bottom half. As I open up the keyboard, we can see just how much dirt and dust has made it inside. A quick once-over with the feather duster and a brush solves our cleaning needs here. To go deeper still, I'll need to remove the board from the top plate. This can only be achieved by continuing to use the screwdriver and unscrewing the screws holding the two together. This board is also being held together by bent metal retaining tabs. With the help of some needle nose pliers, I'll be able to finally pry the two apart. As I turn the board over, we see just how much dust has settled on its top side. A good dusting is all the board really needs, but I'll also go over it lightly with a nylon brush to avoid damaging it with any static. Needless to say, but cleaning spray would not be ideal for the board. Instead, I used a can of electronics cleaner on some paper towels, then proceeded to gently spot clean the board, but using rubbing alcohol would be fine. Having cleaned the deepest nook and cranny, it's time I work my way back up. By reattaching the board, making sure its wire connection is securely connected, reassembling both halves, and making sure its many screws are appropriately torqued. Inserting my remodded stabilizers, applying new lubed Kale purple switches in place of my Gator-on clears, keeping up with my new switches will be new keycaps as well, a cherry profile double shot set. Let's not forget about the old keycaps. They're not terrible, but still in need of some cleaning. Simply spraying these directly and cleaning them off with a paper towel should be enough. A rather simple process. Now, time to enjoy a clean keyboard.